so hot.
Bro, I actually also don't know what a kumquat is, but I do use that word a lot.
Are you sure
just
it's
'cause
actually a
it
thing?
sounds dirty.
Hold on. My mic is feeling a little sus right now.
Dang, we're talking about kumquats, and now Tyler's mic is sus. What's in the air?
The mic was plotting against me, bro.
Yeah. That's how they be doing us nowadays.
Man, yeah, I'm like, I think these mics are great. I love them, but apparently mine is having some internal issues. So we're gonna have to run some diagnostics and see what we can do about that.
Yo, what did we used to call these episodes?
The vault.
The vault. Well, welcome, guys. My name's Gabriel.
I'm Tyler.
And for those of you that are seeing a vault episode for the first time, welcome. And for those of you that have seen our old vault episodes from the past seasons, welcome back. And for those of you, just a little rundown, life gets busy sometimes and things happen. So Tyler and I like to take some extra time before we record the season and make these vault episodes for you guys that we save, and we only post whenever, if something happens that we can't record that week. So this is our past selves talking to future you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the show's about to start. Introducing Catchin Up Podcast.
Catching Up Podcast. If you're not caught up, you're catching up. I don't necessarily know what that means. Well, yeah, I think it's also cool because, yeah, it's just like a little something from the past that we get to put out. And like we typically, we edit them. So obviously as they're coming out, we see it before you guys do. But typically a lot of them, like when I'm editing them, I don't even remember half the stuff we talked about. So for me, it's like, oh, wow, I remember that,
Yeah, no, me too. There was last season, we always record if we can, we always record the vaults before the season starts, like before we start posting. And then last season, I don't think I think the last one was like towards the end of the season.
Yeah.
It was like the second to last episode. So that episode, for real, I literally was like, I don't even remember at all what we were talking about.
We one day have to record one and then release it just like 3 seasons later. Like, it'd be specific. Like, obviously,
cool.
These we try to, like, we know they're going to come out this season at some point. Like, we kind of prepare for that. But I think it'd be cool if we're like, all right, this one, like, 3 seasons from now.
That'd be cool. We'd probably look so different.
I think you would look different because you change your hair and your beard about twice a week. But
that's true.
For me, I think it just depends on how my cut is at the time. Like if I am like in need of a haircut versus if I need a haircut. I have a haircut.
Bro, literally last season, like every video I watch, I look different. Like it's crazy.
It was worse with the sesh because you also like you shaved your head at one point. You would get like a fade. You would grow it out. Then you would kind of cut the grow out.
I would shave my beard.
Yeah, like you had like 10 different appearances. So it was like, all right.
Yeah, they're always like, who's the third guest that you guys always randomly bring on?
Who's the bald guy now?
No, literally. That was bad. And there was one episode, if you remember, where I had a mustache.
Yeah. Oh.
So bad.
I forgot it. Was that when we were doing Manscaped?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Why did you get a mustache again? Question mark.
I don't remember. This is like 2 years ago.
I feel like every guy, tell me if I'm wrong. I feel like every guy who like grows out their beard, right? Because I'm not one of those guys. I don't think I can fully grow a consistent one. And like, I'm not trying to buy all the products to like help it grow. So not me. But I feel like every guy who can grow a beard has at some point tried out just a mustache.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's a
curiosity. It's like a thing that... Because, like, okay, for me at least, whenever I'm, like, shaping up my beard, whether it's, like, on my cheeks or on my neck, if you mess up those lines, like, you're kind of screwed. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of the times you got to shave it or do something different. So It's like tradition. Like whenever you have to shave your beard,
Tradition.
you like try every look that you possibly can. So I always like I've done the where you shave your cheeks and then I like super long sideburns.
Yeah, but you didn't.
And
did
then
you
I had
leave, though?
like
You didn't
the
leave that, did you?
No, I didn't
Right.
leave it, but like we all tried
Yeah.
just to see what it looks like. I've done the just around the mouth and the like the chin and the mustache. Like that's not a goatee, is it?
What was that? You said around.
Where you just have it
No, the
around your
goatee's
mouth.
just here. I don't really know what that is called.
Well, there's that, and then I've done like the goatee and the mustache. I actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know if I've ever done just my chin, like just the goatee. So that might be what I do next time. But yeah, you just like slowly start chipping away. It's like sculpture, right? You slowly start chipping it away until your baby face.
The only thing.
And then
Oh, go ahead.
go ahead. No, I was just saying. I know this one guy, my old boss. He did that where he messed up his beard and he tried it, bro. He came back and he had like that biker gang mustache that like goes around your mouth, and I was like, bro, do not.
Nah, at that point, it's like just let it go, bro. Like specific
Let me just
people
shave
can
it.
pull those types of things off, but no, I've only had the pleasure of being able to try goatee because again, that's really all I can grow out. I mean, more recently, I can grow a mustache, I can grow my goatee, and here like I start to get more than I used to. But like I feel like I would go through a really, really awkward phase because it's not like consistent. So I don't know. I just have never really felt like trying it. But yeah, I got to do a goatee once for a film that should hopefully be coming out at some point in this life. So hopefully you guys will all get to see. At the time I was like, yeah, it doesn't look half bad. But now that I look back on like photos and stuff, I'm like, kind of like. It definitely gives me that, like, I don't know, kind of just, like,
rough look.
Southern type. Yeah. Especially, like, for me, bro, because I feel like, I don't know, people already think I look like a douchebag or a tool or whatever. So, like,
Facts.
for me, it's like when I have that as well, they're like, oh, wow, look at him. Like, he really is now, for whatever reason. I don't know.
It's like the stamp of approval.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't think that's in the near future again for me anytime soon. But
But if you guys comment enough, he'll do it.
no, it'd have to be like a
that's
crazy what for me to grow my goatee out.
Yeah.
Man, I want 100 likes on this video and I'll grow it out again.
Okay,
Which is like, but
Finna run these likes up?
This only applies. Hopefully this will come out first of the vaults, but I was gonna say it only applies for this season, cause it can't be something where 3 years later we blow up and people go back and like it. And we're like, nah, it doesn't work, and it's expired. It stayed past this view.
Yeah, you guys got to read the fine print.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't really aspire to have facial hair. Anyways, I think I like to show off the jawline. Anyways, so.
Yeah, you do have a nice jawline. I don't. That's why I got the beard.
But you can also grow yours in a
I
week.
I don't. Yeah, that's the thing. But my wife hates it when I'm baby face.
I mean, it gives you a different
She
look.
says it feels like. Yeah, bro, I'm telling you, I have not gotten ID'd at like a liquor store or something like that in like months, maybe.
And he's
a
only
year.
19.
And then the second I shaved, can you imagine? Now I'm 24, about to be 25. No, but literally, I haven't gotten ID'd in so long. And then the second I shaved, everyone was like, "Is this fake?" And I'm like, "No, it's not a fake ID. What do you mean? It's a Florida ID. It's hard to fake."
Well, that reminds me of the one time we went to
Cowboys.
Yeah, we went to Cowboys, which is like a country bar back in Orlando, Florida. And
It's no. It's a square dancing bar.
it's a country bar. I mean, yeah, but all country bars for the most part have like line dancing. Square dancing. It's like 1950s.
I said square dancing, and I was like, I don't think that's it.
I mean, I'm sure they probably dabble in that a little bit, but yeah, we used to go there, and I mean, back when I lived there, obviously, and we went there one night, and I had my ID and I didn't, you know how like you don't need to update your ID, so like mine until it expires. So mine was like coming up on expiring, but it wasn't expired yet. It was probably still had like a few months to go. So it was still the vertical one. It wasn't the horizontal one. And the dude, I give him my ID, the security guy, and he's like looking at it, inspecting it, and he's like, oh, like I forget. It was a while ago, but it was something along the lines of like, oh, like is this real? And I was like, yeah. And like, keep in mind, I haven't really changed that much facially. Like, I get the picture was when I was young, but I don't even think that was his concern. I think it's because it was vertical. He's like, oh, are you sure it is? Like questioning me about it. And I'm like, yeah. I was like, do you guys have one of those? And listen, I did not say like, I wasn't trying to catch a dude with the dude. I was trying to get in. I was like, yeah, do you guys have like a scanner? You guys could check it out. Like, I have no reason to lie to you. And he's like, oh, okay. He like took offense to that for whatever reason. And he calls security over. And so this big like security dude comes over. And he's like checking it out. And he looks at it. And he takes like maybe 5 seconds, looks at it. And he's like, yeah, dude, it's real. And the guy's like, oh, are you sure? And he's like, yeah, man. And the guy's like, all right, go in. And I'm like, bro, like, he was just so aggressive about it.
Yeah, he was like actually like upset.
Yeah, he was mad
to let Tyler. Like he like fought it at first. He literally was like, "No, you're not coming in." And then that's when you were like, "Do you have the thing to check? Because there's no reason for you not to let me in." And then
it was just crazy, bro.
It was a whole mess.
I'm like, I get it.
But yeah, the guy that's younger that went in before him, me, with also a vertical ID, it was a fine.
And he didn't like my. Maybe he thought I was too.
He probably thought he looked like James Franco, and then he saw you, and he was like, "I got nothing on this guy."
He's like, man, I thought I was the only James Franco lookalike in Orlando.
No, for real. It was weird.
Yeah, sometimes you'll get that. I mean, even my sister at one point back in the day, she was like 25 at the time, bro. And the people at one of the clubs she went to.
She might as well be retired.
For real. One of the clubs she went to, they like wouldn't let her in. And they even like, cause I think it was downtown, they have cops down there. So a cop came over and like checked it out and he's like, yeah, it's fine. But I guess the club has like the final say. So they were still like, no. And I'm like, what is wrong with y'all, bro? but let an underage person slide them $20 and they're letting somebody in, you know? I'm like, what's going on here?
Bro, that's what I'm saying. Like, I know, you know them too. These two sisters that they don't look alike. They're just both white blonde girls. And the older one goes in first, scans her ID, and then they have like someone in between them, and then she like passes her ID back, and then the younger one uses the ID. This is back in the day. They're both of age now. And they would get in, and they just looked at the same exact ID for two different people, and it's fine.
The pass-off is crazy, bro.
And then Tyler... Bro, the pass-off is crazy. I don't have the cojones to do that.
I don't either. I never did. I never had a fake ID.
Me neither. I never. That's one thing I'm proud to say. I have never had a fake ID.
Yeah,
Ever.
I would just, especially back in the day, I would have been way too nervous to use one. And also, like, I didn't start going to the clubs until I was 18. Like college clubs, obviously, because you can't get into all clubs when you're 21. But also, I didn't even drink until I was 21 anyways. Like, typically, whenever me and my homies went out to the college bars when I was 18, I was the designated driver so that they could. So I never necessarily felt the need for one, like most people that are 18 do, you know? So that was pretty funny. I don't even know where you get one of those.
I pretty much didn't drink till I was like 21 because they, by the time I was 18, everyone else was over 21. So then they'd go downtown and I couldn't go downtown.
Hey, it's nobody's fault you wanted to be born 3 years later.
That's crazy. You're right.
Yeah.
It's my mom's
yeah,
fault.
I don't even know like how do you even like who's the plug for that? Like you just go online.
I know friends. I had friends that would I had this one buddy that he would order his fake IDs from this Chinese website and they looked really real. But the way they would mail it to you is that they would send you a box of like custom chopsticks. and like under the chopsticks, like you know how like an Apple when you buy an iPhone, you open the case, the iPhone's on top, and then there's that compartment behind it. So you would lift that part up of these chopsticks, and then there would be 2 IDs in there, so it'd get through scanners.
And
that's how he would get his from China. Isn't that crazy?
Hey man, and they grind.
I don't know if this is still true, but apparently Hawaii, their ID is like super easy to fake. So when I worked at the liquor store, they were telling me that it's so like normal looking and like easy to make that people will just be handing out fake IDs in Hawaii for stuff like that because it's just easy to make.
It's such a weird thing because me and him were both cashiers at a grocery store in Florida, and from what I remember, I mean, again, this was a long time ago, so I don't necessarily remember all the specifics. But from what I remember, they just told us, hey, check the date, check the picture, make sure it obviously matches this person. But they never told us, like, we didn't have a scanner. They didn't show us how to check if it was real or not. So for me, I was like, okay, as long as I'm checking the date and making sure the date is like within, the correct age range, and the picture matches the person, like how would I be the one responsible for not knowing if it's a real ID or not? Because I remember that happened at one point where a guy, one of the cashiers, he, checked this person's ID and it was real. And bro, it was a fault on his part though, because I was there that day. I was bagging and I was just like assisting. So like I wasn't even checking the ID or anything. But the kid had a high school shirt on, like in Olympia High School or West Orange High School, which like, you could just be wearing an old high school t-shirt. You're at the grocery store. But apparently like he checked it and he let it go. And then it was found out later that it was a fake ID or whatever. But I was like, again, how is that our fault if we don't have a scanner? We're not taught specifically how to check IDs. We're just taught to check the age and to ID everybody, obviously, but check the age and check the photo. You know what I mean? So it's like, where does the responsibility really lie there? Is it on the company? Is it on the person? I mean, you worked at the liquor store, so I don't know if they instructed you guys how to check them. But
dude, first off, you clearly didn't pay attention in the training videos.
Probably not.
Neither did I, because I don't know how to see a fake ID. But I know they have like things that they show, like expiration date, address.
Well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Things like that. But I agree. Like it's too much for. I feel like it's too much without you like to watch a video on. Like I feel like you got to be trained and you got to have like examples.
Yeah.
Of like this is a fake versus the real thing. Like this is
or
what
have
they
the little
look
light.
like. And yeah, the little light, the holler, like I don't know, something other than just putting in your birthday, because that's what Publix does. Like that's all you just give them your ID, they put in your birthday, and that's it. Like there's no care really if it's a fake ID. But yeah, I think everywhere should have those ID scanners, genuinely, just because it's just safer.
Yeah.
A safe bet. Because I always wonder I don't know if our viewers know this, but if a server or a bartender or someone that's giving you drinks IDs you, right? And then you get hammered. You go home and then you get in a car accident, right? You can get that person can sue the person that got hit, can sue the drunk driver. They can sue the person that served that drunk driver to the point of intoxication, and then they can sue the company that they bought the drinks from, at least restaurant-wise. So, like, as a server and a bartender or a cocktail server, like, you gotta cut people off, because if that happens, you can get fired and sued, and then your company can get sued, right? So why are we not adding that extra step of like scanning IDs too? Because then I'm wondering, okay, if that's already a thing, and then turns out they are underage, but I check the ID, but it's a fake, is that on me?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, is that an extra charge then? Because I didn't know that it was a fake? Because I did my job in the sense of checking the ID and then, Some people cutting people off. That's a whole other topic that we can get into. But like ID wise, am I gonna get in more trouble if you get caught selling to a minor? Not like minor, like under 21 minor, and you didn't check their ID and you sell to them, like you get arrested and you can't sell liquor for 5 years. Like it
Makes
goes on your
sense.
record. So I'm like, which makes sense, cool. But if I check your ID and it's fake, am I still like, do I still have that much to like weight on me,
exactly.
like to blame?
It's I don't know. I don't know the specific laws and
Someone let us know if you know law or
but
something.
even then, yeah, I know my homie out here, he was serving and he had to cut off people sometimes, and I'm like, well, bro, it's like, what if you serve somebody 3 drinks and like they're above the limit, whatever, right? But they're not like wasted, but they're like, you know what I mean? And then they go and then they drive like that shit. I don't know. I get there should be a certain point where you're like, yeah, this dude is like messed up. We probably shouldn't serve him anymore. But at the same time, like if somebody decides to go and get in their car and drive, like that is fully their choice.
I agree.
So like I get as a bartender, you should keep an eye. You should make sure that like somebody's not sloppy drunk. But again, it's like, how does that fall on you for their stupid actions? You know what I mean? Like that doesn't really make sense to me. Maybe somebody can counter argue and make it make sense. I'm always open for discussion, but I don't know. Just from my point of thinking, it doesn't make sense.
Well, another thing, just to add to that point, especially like bars, more specifically, and like it happens with restaurants too, but they could have had 1 drink at my restaurant or bar and have been pre-gaming, and I didn't know. Yeah. And like they're not gonna tell you, and then like all of a sudden they get 1 drink and they're like plastered drunk, and I don't even know. So I'm gonna serve them 2-3 drinks.
And some people are
thinking
good
they're
about
good, but they
hiding
come in hammered. Yeah,
Like-
some people are. They really are. It's insane. Like I've served this Russian dude one time, and like I guess Russians are really like big on vodka, and he literally asked for like 8 ounces of vodka. And he was just shooting it, just like throughout dinner. And he was fine. And then he asked for another 8 ounces. So like almost the whole bottle. And I'm like, no. And then they're like, I had to get like my manager and everything, because he's like, no, I'm fine. Like I did, like this is like his culture, you know what I mean? But it's like liability for us.
Yeah, exactly.
And he was totally fine. But then I've also had people where I give them 2 martinis that are made out of liqueurs, so it's not even that strong. And then they're like slurring.
That's crazy, bro.
Like, it just makes
That's crazy.
It's kind of weird, and because it's like at the end of the day, it's on you for making that decision. If you don't know your if you don't know your limit, you don't know where you're at when it comes to like how you're feeling, if you should drink or if you should drive or not. Like, you know what I mean? And if you didn't get a DD, that's kind of on you. There's like so many different avenues. You can stay there. You can walk around. You can eat, try to sober up, drink water. You can try to get an Uber. You can try to get someone else to give you a ride. Like, or just control yourself.
Yeah, it's I don't know. That's such a weird thing. But yeah, exactly. I feel like at the end of the day, right? It should be on the person, man. Like, it's I don't know. It's such a That's a weird thing to me, but I don't know.
And then also, like, people get angry when you cut them off, too. So then like, it sometimes puts, like, the worker in the employee in an uncomfortable position. Like, we did last call at my bar. So, like, we're not allowed to serve anything after 2 a.m. in Florida. And so we always do last call before that. And then it's, like, past 2. And the guy's like, give me a beer. And I'm like, no, sorry, sir. Like we already did last call. Like I can't serve you another beer. I apologize, but I can get you a water if you'd like. And then he's like, get me an effing beer. And I was like, sir, like I said, like I apologize. We did last call. And he's like, and then he's just like giving me like this nasty look. He's like, give me an effing beer, bro. He's like, just give me an effing beer. And I'm like, it's after 2 a.m. I legally cannot. And then he just like kept cursing at me. And I'm like, dude, relax. Like it's a beer. Like relax. You know what I mean? But then it's like, whenever you cut people off, it's usually before they pay their tab.
Yeah.
So then like that can also affect the server's money too, or the person serving's money. So it's this whole like weird situation. I don't know. It's hard. I feel like it's just kind of hard to navigate.
Yeah, definitely.
And then like if you work at a hotel, like it's not that big of a deal if they get drunk because they are staying at the hotel. So then it's fine. But then if like you're a standalone where people have to drive to,
Yeah,
then
if they
it's
go
not
and
fine.
wreak havoc on the hotel, who cares?
Yeah, at least they're not driving. They might throw up everywhere, but
Yeah, sure.
oh man, that happened to my buddy the other day. Not that happened to my buddy. He went to the bathroom during our shift, and he said that there was throw up all over the urinal in one of the stalls. I was like, bro started throwing up when he was taking a piss.
I can't, bro. I can't. Oof. Brings me back to the college club days, bro. Those bathrooms were disgusting. They were so nasty, bro. Like, I remember I would just go in there and try to just, like, hold my breath, pee real quick, and just get out of there, bro. They were so nasty. They were never clean. Like,
My favorite when there was poop on the floor.
ugh.
I'm like, the toilet's right here. I'm like, it's literally
Hey,
like,
man,
right
you
next to the
gotta
poop. Like,
go.
you missed. How'd you miss?
Well, they were probably like,
It's a bowl.
whoa.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It is crazy.
I have so many funny stories, but I feel like, oh, you know what? Just because we're doing a 30-minute episode,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, sure.
2:30s. Okay. If you want, since we're both fully free from Publix, we should give. I don't know if you have any, but I'll tell you about the story. I almost got robbed at Publix and at the liquor store, and I didn't because I did the proper protocol. But it was so funny. So this couple, like, I'm working at the liquor store by myself, stocking things. And then, you know, it was the classic two people come in. One person's asking me a question while someone's going towards the other side of the
Yeah.
liquor store, right? So one's like, hey, like, where's the... He asked me, like, such a weird question where he's like, where's the white rum? And I'm like, you see the rum right in front of you? It's like, you just look at the white ones, the clear ones. And then he's like, but can you, like, show me? And then I'm like, yeah, sure. And then the girl went the other way, down the other aisle. She, like, didn't look at me. She's not talking to me. So I'm like, that's weird. So, and then I just, like, clicked my button because the managers, at least at the time, my old manager, he was very okay with it. Like, he's like, if you ever think there's anything suspicious, click this button and I'll show up. Like, even if it's nothing. Like, I'd rather be safe than sorry. So, and then the guy is like distracting me, try to pick out like this white rum, and the girl tries to get a bottle, but then my manager comes and stands at the front door, and then she puts the bottle down, and then he's just standing at in front of the door. He's just like, "Hi, how you doing?" And he's like 6'2", like he's like a tall dude. You know what I mean? He's not like huge, but he was like on the muscular side. Like it was Greg. Yeah. So he's just standing there, and then this girl literally goes, like, shoves him, like she's trying to like run past him through the door because she didn't have a bottle because she's like, oh my God, we're made. And then he literally has his hands behind his back, so he's just like crossed armed behind his back. And then she like runs into him, and he's like, what are you doing? And she shoves him out of the way and runs out. And then he goes, you saw I didn't touch her, right? And I said, yeah. And then he's like, okay. And then her accomplice acts like as if he didn't know her. He literally looks at her and he goes, I'll buy this one. And then he like, I ring him up, and then he like runs out of there. And then my manager's like, don't ever come back to my store again, blah, 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 blah. He's like, didn't you guys come here last week and steal a Patron bottle? And the guy was like, I don't know what you're... He's like, yeah, don't ever come to my store again, blah, blah, blah. And then they sped off in their car because they parked... Oh, that's another thing. They also parked right in front of the door. So they had an easy way out. And then guess what I saw when they drove off? They put a piece of paper over their license plate.
Wow.
So, like, they really were trying to, like, sack some liquor from the liquor store, but because I followed the proper protocol and I trusted this beautiful gut of mine, I didn't get robbed. But I did have to sign off a police report. And
He said, but they did end up locking me up, so I don't really know what happened there.
I did lose my job.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro. You'd be surprised how many people try to, like, take stuff from grocery stores. It's actually pretty crazy.
Bro, every time I work inside a store, I'm always like, it always astonishes me where I'm like, how do people be stealing? I work at a music store now part time, and like people be stealing stuff from there all the time. And things be expensive, bro. Like we keep the violin strings behind the counter because depending on the brand, one string can be up to like $60.
Oh, I bet. I mean, bro, out here they freaking at all the Targets and the Walmarts, like pretty much 80% of the stuff is encased. Like if you need to get soap,
Bro,
it's
I've
like
seen
encased.
that.
If you need to get a toothbrush, it's encased. It's It's so annoying.
How do you shop? Like, do you have to get a worker,
Yeah, you press a button,
an employee to like open it
and
for you?
like half the time it takes them 20 minutes to come over there. So now your 5-minute trip just to go get mouthwash or toothpaste or something is now 30 minutes because they don't have enough employees to handle that. But they also are trying to combat theft. So I'm like, it's crazy, bro. I'm like, you'd be better off just like security tagging everything. I feel like, because I'm like, the thing is too, some stores, for example, like the Walmart, they will give you it in a case and they won't, like you have to take it and at the cash register, they'll take the case off. But like at some other stores like Target, they'll just open it and give you the product. So I'm like, okay, so couldn't I just slip this in my pocket right now? Like, not that I'm going to do that, but I'm just saying it doesn't really make sense. It kind of just defeats the whole purpose, you know? And
like, how much is this actually?
And even then, I've seen, like, when I first moved out here, my first, like, 2 weeks out here, I was going to Target to pick up some things, and this dude is outside. I get out of my car, and I hear slamming, and I'm like, what? Like, something's hitting the ground. I'm like, what is that? And I turn around, and this dude has one of those, you know, like, if you buy cologne or something, there's, like, a plastic security case. He's just slamming it to break it open, obviously. And I'm like, okay, so then those don't even work. So like, what's the point? You know what I mean? It's crazy, bro.
Yo, that's
it's
insane.
crazy, bro. People, it really is the wild West out here sometimes. But anyways, we should probably wrap this one up. So
yeah, on that note, let us know if you have any crazy stories of theft, because we'd love to hear them. Once again, in case you forgot, my name's Gabriel.
I'm Tyler.
We're the Catchin Up Podcast. Follow us on all the platforms. It is some variation of Catchin Up Podcast. But remember, the catching of the Catchin Up has no G. So it's CATCHIN.
Yeah, because we're the G's.
We hip
so
like
we
that.
just took the G out.
Yeah.
Figured we'd represent that. And then, you know. Yeah.
Precisely.
You guys know.
So now you know. And then remember, if you're not caught up, you're catching up. So make sure you watch some of our old videos if you haven't. And if you're caught up, thank you.
then you're
Hope
doing
you
what
enjoyed.
you're supposed to be doing. All right.
Yes,
Peace.
sir. All right. We'll see you next week. Peace.